The legal battle between Dele Farotim and Afe Babalola is taking another dimension. Are Afe Babalola just files 600 million claims. 600 million claims. New one. Anyways, take your time, listen to this video. If you have not read Dele Farotim's book, what he wrote in his book, if you have not read it, watch this video to the end. You see part of what Dele Farotim wrote in his book that triggered this anger. Watch the video to the end. We'll come back.
Legal battle between human rights lawyer Dele Farotim and Are Afe Babalola continues with yet another court filing. This will make it the fifth, by the way. They filed one in Abuja, one in Oyo State, and two in Ekiti State. The two in Ekiti State are criminal in nature, while the other two are civil in nature. This fifth one is in Port Harcourt. It is also civil in nature. They are claiming 500 million naira for damages because of what Dele Farotim wrote in his book, and 100 million naira for distributing what he wrote in the book. So total claims amount to 600 million naira. This civil defamation suit was filed by Ola Faro, a partner to Afe Babalola and Co. Emmanuel Chambers. He was the same guy that filed a 90-page petition they submitted to Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, seeking to disbar Dele Farotim from practicing law in Nigeria. In this civil defamation suit he filed in Port Harcourt, he quoted some excerpts from Dele Farotim's book, Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System. According to the lawsuit, these excerpts not only defamed him and his associates, it also defamed Emmanuel Chambers. Let's see some of them. That Are Afe Babalola, Oludaramola, Olufaro, and the law offices of Afe Babalola and Co., Emmanuel Chambers, compromised the Supreme Court and the remaining semblance of integrity it might have had when they went back to the Supreme Court and got the court to swim in the sewer of corruption and shameful self-abnegation. But even as Atilade J played the contrition game, she was already part of the game plan being staged together by the Grandmaster of Judicial Corruption in Nigeria, Afe Babalola. I have come to the conclusion that the required form of the application and her ruling were all part of the insidious plans of Afe Babalola, his band of crooked lawyers, and coterie of crooked, incompetent justices of the Supreme Court. The battle to quash the warrant opened my eyes to the extent of the rot in the court system, and I came to the knowledge of the sickening realities of the systemic putrefaction. The Supreme Court's judgment was doctored by the Confederation of Lawyers in Afe Babalola's chambers and the law offices of S.B. Joseph and Co., and the end desired by the Confederacy was sought with the active connivance of the head judge of the Lagos Division, Atilade J. We quickly realized that the law office of Afe Babalola and Co., Emmanuel Chambers, had outsourced the judgment execution to another law office. The firm of S.B. Joseph and Co. and the firm had fraudulently and deliberately concealed the judgment of aka AHS and had underlined the words of Justice Rosevival to deceive and perhaps mislead Atilade, or as is more likely, Atilade was always a part of the original fraud. There is nothing of the bastard in the men and women peopling our criminal justice system, but it is the system itself that is criminal, and it is the practitioners, from the registrars to we the lawyers and the judges, that are generally criminal, completely hopeless and unfit for purpose. Looking at how hard they are going on Dele Farotim, a civil defamation suit in Abuja, another one in Oyo State, and this one in Port Harcourt, not to talk of two already in Ekiti State, with the one at the magistrate court that shouldn't have been filed in the first place, because the crime for which he was accused in this court no longer exists in Ekiti State. It all vindicates Professor Chidi Odinkalu. He said this a few days ago, that what Nigerians are looking at, whether it's civil defamation or criminal defamation, that this isn't Dele Farotim's main crime. It is better heard from the horse's mouth.
Who was it? I believe it was Roscoe Pound, who said that the march of the law is from status to contract. We live in a society in which status defines everything. If you are chief, look, you see, a lot of people are focusing on the defamation, the allegations of criminal defamation. Let me tell you my analysis, my own sense of smell on this case. Dele's real crime in the mindset, sorry to use the word mindset here, but in the mindset of the people confectioning this thing, Dele's real crime is actually, yes, there are issues of allegations of criminal defamation or whatever, but that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue here is his irreverence, his unilateral withdrawal of social capital from someone for whom it is taken for granted, and doing it as a son of Yoruba land in a place where elders are supposed to be entitled to social capital by virtue of longevity. And Dele's own modest effort is to seek to relocate the basis of social capital from entitlement to earning. That you've got to earn it. And he's claiming, if you don't earn it, I will remove my own share of that social capital from you. This may sound rather technical and psychobabble, but this is the heart of the matter. This is why this is visceral in the way that it is. And this is why it is taking the form that we see that it is taking, in my own estimation. And we should not underestimate what can happen when citizens in a critical mass remove or withdraw social capital from those who claim it as an entitlement without seeking to prove that they have earned it. That's the only way I can frame this. I'm trying to be a little delicate. I could be a lot more brutal about it, but that's the only way I think I can frame it to make sense. If anyone wants a full trial of these issues and vindication, the place to go to is a civil case. Of course, I can understand in a country like Nigeria, I can understand why a 95-year-old may not wish to go civil proceedings in defamation. The case may well be stuck in court another 10 years. And no one has any guarantees when you pass a particular age in Nigeria or anywhere in the world. But the only way to do it is civil proceedings. You cannot address this in criminal proceedings because there will be no opportunity to air these particular matters in the way that they should be aired and cleared up and addressed. But before people come up, I want to say one more thing, please. Several people, I think, a lot of people are feeling sorry for Dele. You know the way we do things in Nigeria. I'm not Dele's spokesperson, but I can say this for him and about him. Dele would not invite any of us to pity him. When you do some of this stuff, you make choices, and none of us goes into the risks we run without being acutely aware of our mortality and of our limitations. But there are bigger issues at stake. Okay? There are a heck of a lot bigger issues at stake. And the fact of the matter is the crisis of our judicial system and our legal processes will not be sorted out without some crisis. If it takes this kind of crisis for us to realize things need to be done, then Dele, far from deserving pity, actually just deserves our solidarity. Wherever and howsoever we can bring it together. And that's what, so that for those who come up here, let's stop looking at Dele as a victim. He isn't. Dele has made a choice to advertise in a rather dramatic way the challenges that we must all confront as citizens if we're going to get justice in the country.